But as far as flesh is concerned, and as far as bones are concerned, we all have them in a pretty much equal manner. Thereafter he says that if you want to humble yourself and attain closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and if there ever comes a time that you want to brag about yourself and how great you really are and how people should really hanker behind you, then remember the following. He says, it is very simple. Ask yourself, from what were you created? You were created from water, and not just water, a filthy portion of water that is called sperm. That is why the ulama have stated, and Sharia states, that when sperm comes out of the body, automatically you have to go and have a bath, because it is the filthiest portion of the body. Thereafter, look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how He humbles humanity. He takes that sperm, He mixes it with something else that is just as filthy, the egg. So you get the sperm and the egg that begins its formulation, and guess what it mixes up with thereafter? With blood, and it becomes part of the human body. To add insult to a human, not only does that human develop in that state and that environment, when a human is born, the mother goes through a bleeding process, and basically that child, when he comes out into this world, is forced out through a cavity that has blood soaking on that given child's face. For the most part, this is what happens. Now Sayyidina Ali says it very beautifully. If any time you wish to become arrogant or become proud, just think of your humble beginnings. And thereafter the Quran says, despite your humble beginnings and your humble start off in life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. From that lowest point, I have made you the highest of high. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us the highest of high? Because the Quran says it very beautifully, as I mentioned, it is because we have the ability to mention the words of Allah. We have the ability to send praise towards Allah. Imagine this tongue that has an origin of sperm and an egg. This tongue of ours that was soaked and came out through blood has risen to the position of having the ability of saying Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illallah, all praises to Allah. We worship Allah, we give ourselves to Him. That's why the Quran also says, Sabbaha lillahi ma fi samawati wa ma fil ard. My dear respected Muslim brothers and sisters in Islam, to be able to say Subhanallah and Alhamdulillah is not a genius of ourselves. It is because of the mercy that Allah has chosen us to be able to say this. That's what the Quran says. If you ever wish to become arrogant and think that you are saying it because of yourself, then remember, Sabbaha lillahi ma fi samawati wa ma fil ard. Remember, as far as the praise of Allah is concerned, every entity out there in the skies as well as in the earth is taking part in the praise of Allah. In other words, Allah does not need you and I to take His praise. Therefore, us taking His praise, doing the right thing, doing the right and the moral thing at all times, is actually an honor that Allah has given us, so that we can attain a beautiful position not only in this world but inshallah in the hereafter to come as well. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us in not just becoming moral and righteous. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us in making good decisions. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us abstain from all that which is wrong, not become arrogant. Help us understand the distinguishing factor between right and wrong, and make decisions that are not counterproductive to ourselves and our family out there. I noticed Brother Noor had brought some water just now and left it here. And I'm noticing this a lot in the center, and it's really bothering me. And the thing that is bothering me is where I come from, which is a human society like yours. We would be very embarrassed when we see an elderly person doing something. Now we have Brother Ali here and many other youth over here. I would like you all to become more active in fulfilling basic responsibilities. If you feel you cannot do it, just write me a note and leave it here, then I'll do it for you inshallah. All I'm requesting is, when you see, now you know somebody brings water every week, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that if someone else can also do it, especially those that are youthful, it will not hurt you. And I see a lot of elderly people doing a lot of things from time to time. And I'm sorry that I cannot do it because I have other obligations as well. But I would like the youth to become a little bit more active. Not picking on you at all. And I cannot tell any youth anything, because nowadays when you tell them things, their face get a little bit like a pomegranate. So we don't want faces to change like pomegranate. But those of you that are youth over here, or like rotten popos as they say, but that's entirely your personal choice. But I would like the youth over here to become a little more active in fulfilling basic requirements. For example, sometimes you see a Quran lying around, and you see an elderly person coming and picking up that Quran. And it hurts me, it really grieves me that we make our elderly people do these type of things. And sometimes I wonder, when you see elderly people doing things and we allow them to do things, I begin to wonder what manners and respect we have for elderly people and what we have learned as children. So in future, inshallah, I hope the youth will not embarrass me by the water process. The youth will not embarrass me by when they put in the carpet right, or for that matter the election right, or for that matter simple things, whatever they may be, whether it is putting the shoes right out there, etc., etc. So if the youth can form a group amongst themselves to take on different responsibilities on a weekly basis, whether it is something small or whatever it may be, it will be really, really appreciative. This is something that Islam teaches us. This is something my teachers have taught me. And I know as a student, when I was studying in school, we would be very embarrassed that if a teacher had to even ask for a glass of water. I actually saw students tearing in class when a teacher had to ask for a glass of water. I'm not asking you for water, I'm just giving you an example. Why? Because the student has realized that it is my duty to make things easy for the other individual so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can love me. Now take the same example. Why don't we have love in our life? Why don't we have peace in our life? Ask yourself to the following examples that I've shared with you. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us and guide us at all times. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.